Maria Theresa of Austria was born in Vienna into the imperial Habsburg family. She was the daughter of Archduke Charles, a hero of the Napoleonic Wars. Raised with strict Catholic values, she married Ferdinand II, King of the Two Sicilies, in 1837. As queen, Maria Theresa was known for her piety, restraint, and devotion to tradition. She was seen as a powerful figure at court, especially during Ferdinand's illness and reclusion. She defended Austrian interests in the Neapolitan kingdom, though liberal circles viewed her coldly. People said that through Maria Theresa, it was as if the Habsburgs themselves watched over Sicily. After Ferdinand's death in 1859, she lost political influence but retained the respect of conservatives. She died in Munich, far from courtly life. Friedrich II the Great was born in Berlin into the Prussian royal family. From childhood, he received a strict military upbringing, but secretly admired philosophy, music, and French literature, dreaming of another destiny. As king, Friedrich II the Great turned Prussia into a European power through reforms and wars that strengthened its influence. He supported the arts and philosophy and was a friend of Voltaire. He was called the philosopher on the throne. Despite a stern nature, Friedrich remained a passionate lover of music, composing flute sonatas and playing for those close to him. They say he dreamed of leaving behind not just military glory, but also a cultural legacy that became a symbol of an age of reason and strength. Maria Theresa of Bourbon-Naples was born in Naples as the eldest daughter of King Ferdinand IV and Queen Maria Carolina. Raised in a deeply Catholic and politically active court, she was destined for a dynastic union. At 16, she married her double cousin, the future Emperor Francis II. Maria Theresa became Empress of the Holy Roman Empire during a time when the empire was crumbling under revolutions and Napoleon's rise. She cared little for power or fashion. Her mission was motherhood. She bore 12 children and was seen as a model of humility, piety, and duty. Francis II adored her, and after her death, he struggled to find her equal. Her glory lies not in a crown, but in the quiet heroism of her life, contemporaries wrote. Though other Maria Theresas are more famous, to the Habsburgs she remained the image of familial virtue. Ebidi alWahed ibn Masoud ibn Muhammad Enan was born in the Saadi Sultanate of Morocco. A courtier and experienced diplomat, he rose through the ranks under Sultan Ahmad al-Mansur. In the year 1600, he was appointed as Morocco's ambassador to the court of Queen Elizabeth I of England. The arrival of the Moorish ambassador in London caused a stir. His ornate clothes, beard, and solemn gaze inspired English artists and may have served as a model for Othello. His mission was to forge an alliance between Morocco and England against Spain. Speaking several languages and being a skilled diplomat, he was warmly received by the Queen, but the alliance was never consummated. His story is a reminder of the complex and surprising connections between the Islamic and European worlds during the Renaissance. Lucricia De Medici was born in Florence into the powerful Medici dynasty. From childhood, she was raised at court amid art and political intrigue. At a young age, she was married to Alfonso II d'Este, Duke of Ferrara, strengthening dynastic ties. Her marriage became a symbol of political calculation, yet Lucricia suffered from loneliness and court rumors. Her early death gave rise to legends, inspiring poets and artists. They say the sorrow of Florence was reflected in her eyes. The Duchess's fate left its mark on history as an image of innocence sacrificed to dynastic ambition. Portraits and poems dedicated to her still remind us of the price of power and the fragility of a young soul. George Friedrich Handel was born in Halle to a surgeon's family. He showed early musical talent, secretly playing the harpsichord. His determination convinced his father to let him pursue music. In his youth, he studied composition, played the organ, and by 20 became a court musician. Handel became renowned as a composer writing for kings, theaters, and cathedrals. His oratorios, especially Messiah, became a cultural phenomenon. He created music that moved souls and brought people together. He is credited with saying, "I wanted to make them not only scholars, but better people." Despite vision loss and solitude, he composed until the end. In London, he was honored with a state funeral and buried in Westminster Abbey as a national hero. Marie Josephine of Savoy was born in Turin into the royal house of Savoy, daughter of Victor Amadeus III of Sardinia and Maria Antonia of Spain. She was raised in a strict yet refined court atmosphere. From a young age, she was groomed for dynastic marriage and betrothed to the future Louis XVIII of France. Despite her title, Marie Josephine lived in the shadow of her dazzling sister-in-law, Marie Antoinette. Her marriage to the Count of Provence, the future Louis XVIII, was childless and distant. She was unpopular at court and suffered from gossip and isolation. After the Revolution, she lived in exile, withdrawn from public life. "I was a queen without a kingdom, a wife without a husband," she once said. Her story reflects the fragility of a woman's role at court. George Villiers was born in Leicestershire to a family of minor gentry. Thanks to his beauty and charm, he quickly gained the favor of King James I and rapidly rose through the ranks. Still a young man, he became the king's favorite and was granted the title of Duke of Buckingham. Villiers concentrated power in his hands, provoking envy and hatred at court. He influenced the decisions of both James I and Charles I, engaging in dubious diplomacy in failed military campaigns. He was accused of corruption and ambition. He was adored and hated, dazzling at court and struck down by a blade. In 1628, he was stabbed by Officer John Felton, who became a symbol of public revenge. Buckingham's death shocked the monarchy and marked a new era of political tension in England. Mademoiselle de la Force was a French writer and lady-in-waiting, part of the literary circle at the court of Louis XIV. Born into a noble Protestant family, she later converted to Catholicism, which helped her gain favor at court. Her pen became famous for magical tales, the most notable being the story of Bluebeard. La Force skillfully blended courtly intrigues with a world of fantasy and allegory, creating an enchanting atmosphere. In her letters she wrote, "The world is ruled not by kings, but by words." Her works were read at court, discussed in salons over hot chocolate, revealing glimpses of society and the secrets of the human heart. Johann Joachim Quantz was born in Oberschieden in the Electorate of Hanover. From a young age, he studied various instruments, eventually devoting himself to the flute and composition. After travels across Europe and studies in Italy and France, he gained fame as a virtuoso and teacher, especially admired in royal courts. A composer of the Enlightenment, Quantz became the personal tutor of Frederick the Great and wrote over 300 flute concertos. His treatise on flute playing became a key reference for musicians of the time. He did not seek fame on stage, but earned it through genius and self-discipline. "I write for the mind, not just for the ear." Quantz's music is marked by purity of form and clarity. It seems to extend the sound of the Age of Reason. Amy Robsart was born in Norfolk into the family of a wealthy landowner with strong court connections. At 16, she married Robert Dudley, a close friend of the young Prince Edward. Their union was considered a promising match with bright prospects. After Robert Dudley became Queen Elizabeth's favorite, Amy was often left alone, living in seclusion and suffering from illness. Her mysterious death, found at the foot of the staircase with a broken neck, caused a public scandal. People whispered, "The Queen will never marry while the wife is alive." The investigation found no fault with Dudley, but his reputation was damaged. Since then, Amy's story has become a symbol of a tragic victim of courtly ambition. Jacob van Wassenaer-Obdam was born in the early 17th century and belonged to the noble Wassenaer family. At first, he served in the army, but then moved to the navy, proving himself a brave and determined commander. As an admiral, Jacob commanded the Dutch fleet during the Second Anglo-Dutch War. His leadership style combined strictness with care for sailors. He was called the Admiral of Honor and Stubbornness. He died tragically in the 4 days battle when his flagship exploded. They said that before the last fight, he sensed disaster yet did not retreat. Historians still debate whether it was accident or intrigue, but his memory lives on as a symbol of courage and duty. Arangela Terabati was born in Venice into a well-off family. Against her will, she was placed in a convent at an early age, a fate shared by many daughters in noble households. There, she turned to literature, becoming a rare female voice of protest. Educated and eloquent, she used her writing to challenge patriarchal norms and clerical oppression. Arangela was one of the first Italian feminists. Her pen rose against convent violence and inequality. In the Inferno of Women, she called forced monasticism a social execution. Her writings were banned and spread in secret, but beyond the cloister, her voice was awaited. "My body is confined, but my mind is free." Even locked in a cell, she remained a voice of the era, silenced neither by the church nor by time. David Beaton was born into an aristocratic family in Fife, Scotland. He studied at the University of St. Andrews and later continued his education in France. From a young age, he was prepared for a church career and soon became a powerful cleric. Cardinal Beaton became the chief advisor to King James V and a fierce opponent of the Reformation in Scotland. He persecuted Protestants, ordered heretics burned, and strengthened the church's power. He was called the Iron Guardian of Catholic faith. After the execution of Protestant preacher George Wishart, Beaton became a target of hatred and was assassinated by conspirators in his own residence. His death marked a new stage in the country's religious conflict. Catherine of Genoa was born into the noble Fieschi family in Genoa. Raised from childhood in faith and service to others, her youth was overshadowed by an unhappy marriage and inner struggle. Only after a profound spiritual awakening did she discover her true calling, dedicating herself to prayer and compassion. After her conversion, Catherine devoted herself to caring for the poor and sick, led a hospital, and guided others in faith. She was called a living flame of love that both warms and burns. She wrote of mystical union with God, and her revelations inspired generations. Even after death, her image remains a symbol of repentance, compassion, and spiritual strength, reminding us that light can emerge from the deepest darkness. Jacob Yordons was born in Antwerp into a prosperous merchant family. He studied under Adam van Noort and never left his native city. Though not a traveler, he absorbed the grandeur of Rubens and soon became his closest follower. Yordons later inherited many of Rubens's commissions and clients, securing his place among the Flemish masters. Yordons painted exuberant scenes with merry peasants, myths, and allegories, with a liveliness and irony that set him apart from the solemn Rubens. He was a master of light and domestic realism, filling his canvases with energy and life. Even when working for kings, he preserved his free spirit. "I paint the world as I see it, loud, warm, and full of wine and laughter." Eleanor Gonzaga was born in Mantua into the princely house of Gonzaga. From childhood, she was educated in music, Latin, and household management. At the age of 22, she married Emperor Ferdinand II and became Empress of the Holy Roman Empire. As Empress, Eleanor Gonzaga was known for her piety, patronage of the arts, and devotion to the Catholic faith. She founded monasteries, supported musicians, and took an active role in court diplomacy. She said that power without virtue becomes a burden. After her husband's death, Eleonora retired to a convent, living a secluded life while retaining influence at court. She was regarded as the conscience of the Habsburgs and a model of feminine wisdom during turbulent times. Even in the shadow of the throne, she remained a symbol of dignity and faith. Olaf Dalan was a Swedish writer, poet, and historian of the Enlightenment. Born in Halmstad to a priest's family, he showed literary talent early. He graduated from Uppsala University, where he developed an interest in rhetoric and history. He entered history as the author of the satirical journal, then Svenska Argus, a symbol of modern Swedish prose. His pen was called a sword, sharp but fair. Dalan contributed to language reform, seeking to make Swedish clearer and livelier. He was close to the royal family, but later faced criticism and exile. Despite this, his works are still studied as an example of Enlightenment thought and civic courage. Vittoria Aormoni was born into a Roman noble family known for its connections and ambitions. From an early age, she was noted for her beauty and intelligence, drawing attention at court. Her fate became entwined with dangerous intrigues and power struggles, which foretold her tragic end. Her life was full of scandals, marriages, and loud accusations of greed and seduction. After her husband's murder, Vittoria found herself at the center of political games and fell victim to revenge. They said her beauty was a sword that cut through destinies. Aormoni's story inspired playwrights and artists, leaving behind the image of a femme fatale who captivated and destroyed the hearts of the mighty. Her name still symbolizes the dangerous blend of beauty and power. Henry III was born in Zieken into the powerful House of Nassau. He served at the court of Emperor Maximilian I and later became a trusted confidant of Charles V. His marriage to a wealthy Dutch woman strengthened his influence in the Netherlands. He was known as a diplomat and patron of the arts. Henry III played a key role in integrating the Netherlands into the Habsburg Empire. He reformed administration, encouraged education, and built grand residences, including the famous palace in Brussels. His cousin William the Silent would later inherit his principles and lands. He was called the father of bureaucracy, laying the groundwork for stable governance. He died at the age of 55, leaving a political legacy that would influence the Netherlands' future independence. Elizabeth Charlotte of the Palatinate was born in Heidelberg into the noble house of Wittelsbach. Raised in a Protestant court, she was educated with unusual rigor for a girl of her rank. Her marriage to Philippe, Duke of Orleans, and brother of Louis XIV, brought her to Versailles, where she would become a sharp-eyed chronicler of court life. Despite the Catholic court, the Duchess of Orleans kept her common sense, frankness, and German stubbornness. Her letters are a unique source on life at Versailles, filled with gossip, irony, and sharp judgment. She despised intrigues, but observed them with a keen pen. I take no part in this circus, but I describe it better than anyone. Michel Baron was born in Paris to actors of the Hôtel de Bourgogne. After losing his parents early, he joined Molière's troupe as a child actor, quickly becoming known for his talent and expressive delivery. Baron became one of the greatest tragic and comic actors of his time, performing at the Comédie Française. He also wrote plays, bringing life and depth to French theater. He was called the heir to Molière's spirit. His long artistic journey spanned eras of change, and his style combined nobility and simplicity. In old age, Baron returned to the stage, winning the respect of a new audience and becoming a living legend of theater. Vittoria della Rovere was born in Florence into the noble house of Urbino. Her mother died young, and she was raised by her grandmother at the Tuscan court. At the age of 15, Vittoria married the future Grand Duke Cosimo II de Medici, becoming one of the most influential women in Tuscany. Vittoria was deeply religious and known as a patron of science and the arts. She assembled an impressive painting collection that later became part of the Uffizi galleries. Her influence at court grew after her husband's death. She played a key role in educating heirs and governing the state. She was called the Tuscan Catherine de Medici for her political insight and strength of character. Vittoria lived a long life and is remembered as one of the last della Rovere, entwined with the legacy of the Medici. Christian II of Denmark was born into the Oldenburg dynasty and became King of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Raised in a court shaped by Renaissance ideals, he sought to centralize power and reduce noble influence. His reign began with reformist ambitions and a desire to strengthen royal authority across the Kalmar Union. His attempt to hold power in Sweden led to a bloody event, the Stockholm bloodbath, after which Christian lost his throne and was exiled. Spending nearly 30 years in captivity, he remained a symbol of a tragic reformist king. "I wanted justice and became a prisoner of my own dream," he said in old age.